What's going on, my friends? Do you need a good drummer? Of course you do. And we're going to talk about that here today. Hang tight. What's up, my friends? I hope you're well. I guess I just get bored, want to get on and talk about something. There's nothing wrong with that. However, hang on one second. These headphones, I cannot stand wearing these headphones. I can't talk because it muffles everything. So I have to kind of pull one to the side so I can hear myself talk. But anyway, I want to get on and talk about drum VSTs, man. I'll tell you, these drum VSTs probably to me, I jokingly say this is the best drummer I've ever had because he was on time, he was sober, and didn't have an attitude problem. But I didn't have a problem with every drummer I worked with. I've worked with some pretty cool drummers in my day. But there have been a few out there. But they can say that about us guitar players too, so I guess it goes both ways. But anyway, a lot of you guys use drum programs depending on what you're doing with the type of music that you do. I'm a rock player, but I have drum tools I think I've got them for about anything you could possibly imagine, man. And if you're new to music production or anything, new to recording, which a lot of you watching are not new to recording, and you're probably aware of quite a bit what I'm going to show, but I use Easy Drummer 3, which is incredible. I've had Addictive Drums for a long time, and I'm now using Addictive Drums 2, and I just updated some really cool, added some MIDI packs, which I use them, talk about buying stuff, but these were on sale for about $10 a piece. I bought about 3 or 4 new rock packs, and occasionally they'll add new stuff. Excuse me, my nose is itching. But Addictive Drummer is really cool. And in fact, let's see if we can get this to do its thing here. Well, getting that, but I've got the kits going here. I know I was just playing them. Just playing them here, my friends. But now, all these grooves, man, you got all the styles right here with Addictive Drums. They sound amazing. And normally what I do is I'm a kind of a preset guy. I'll take presets and put them together. I'll map out the track, what I'm going to do with my guitar. I'll go in, I may change a kick, I may do a few things, and then after I get everything sequenced and done, I'll go in and I'll add the drum fills and stuff in, because I'm not a drummer. That's the only way I could think like a drummer. There are guys out there, amazing drummers and percussionists. This is nothing for them. They can take a trigger kit. You can, on a side note, you can get an electronic trigger kit, plug it in your computer as an interface. You can trigger all these. You can play through this. You can play through Easy Drummer. Most of this stuff. Native Instruments has some really good drum series. We'll cover those and a few other things. So this is synced with my DAW, but you can tell some of these drums sound good. Let's see. Let's go to the indie rock. And I know that's not the original BP of that track. That one's faster, but it works. But you've got a lot of variations. What it'll do over here with Addictive Drums is it'll take, let's go to heavy rock. That's where I work. You go over here, change, it'll give you the variation. And we're going to open hi-hat, closed hi-hat, shaft, ride, in the same drum variation. The drums sound so good. And I'm not telling you something you don't already know, but it makes you aware of, if you're sitting in the studios these days and, gosh, I got to bring a drummer and there's no way to do this. You really don't have to. You just have to sit down and really learn this stuff. And it's not easy for me. I tend to make things harder than they are. And years ago, I had to really sit down and work with MIDI with drumming because I was using drums on demand loops, which are killer, by the way. I just used some the other day. sequencing drum parts, and they're recorded amazingly. But the problem with drums on demand loops, is simply this: you can't turn that kick drum or that snare drum down. If you get some feedback from a library or from somebody said, hey, can you turn that kick down or lower the low end in that kick? I got lucky one time where I just kind of lowered the track just a hair and took some of the low end out of it, and it worked. But there's no way I'd be able to get away with that twice. Absolutely no way. So I encourage you to find whether you're doing it with MIDI or drum sequencing like Logic Pro has, or whatever you get good at that works for you. The good thing about Logic Pro is you can go into sequencing or blocks and do stuff, and then you can change it back to MIDI, and you can go and move that kick and just learn about velocities and stuff. The cool thing about the presets in these is the drummer has actually played them in, from my understanding. If that's not the case, somebody please chime in and let me know, but I do believe that to be the case. But Addictive Drums has some good packs. This punk rock pack is good. I've used it. Big time. And you can go in and you can, let's go to the Explore kit. You can change kits here. Studio Progressive. I'm on Studio Rock here. So I have a lot of different kits. Another one that's just on Studio Rock. Cool. But it's coming off this beat right here. That's variation. Which is cool. Alright, so that's Addictive Drums, my friends. Let's go in here and let's bring in Easy Drummer. I know it's in here because I was just using it the other day. We're going to tune track. Easy Drummer 3. Check it out. There's so much stuff, and sometimes, even as a guitar player, musician, you can't have too many drum tools, but you want to get the drum tools that you're going to use here. So, hang on just 1 second. This does this sometimes. I've got to. There we go. I had to bring my MIDI keyboard in. I've been using this Akai Professional MPK Mini Plus. It's incredible. It's a keeper, my friends. It is a keeper. And that's the thing on a side note of MIDI controllers. You find one works for you and stay with it. Don't nitpick that and try to get it because you think it's popular or something else you should. The cool thing about Easy Drummer, one thing about Easy Drummer is there's even more options. A lot of you guys use Superior at Easy Drummer. I've got to the point where I won't even update Superior. I mean, that's for metal guys, but Easy will give you everything because you can use the Superior drum MIDI and some of the kits in Easy Drummer. They talk to each other, which is very cool. So you can't go wrong with this. Easy Drummer 3 is incredible. So let me go over here to our grooves. So many things, man. And there's probably some other things I can add into it, but let's just... The cool thing about Easy Drummer that Addictive Drummer doesn't have is they have this bandmate. You can go in and put a guitar track in or a bass track. Sometimes I put full tracks in without drums or with drums. And I had forgotten because I was like, why won't it hit, nail it head on to what I need? It gets very close. And I can't remember because it's been a while since I've done it. Because usually I will write to a drum part if I'm doing guitar parts. But you can put the bass or the guitar part in there or put the whole track. And I've put the full track, drums and all, of a kind of a reference of what I'm looking to do. Just drop it in here. It didn't matter what it is. And it gets real close to that because it gets the overall groove. Like on other here and a lot of times. But in time, they're going to get more options of things that you can do here, which I think is so cool. You've got your mixer. A lot of cool things. You can actually sequence all your drums within here, which, looking back, I don't think you can do with Addictive Drums. That's Easy Drummer, you can sequence in here and then pull the whole track out to MIDI and drop it into your sequencer. What I do is I just go one loop at a time and I sequence it in the DAW first and foremost. But these grooves are so cool because you could take this groove and you can right click and you can go show me similar grooves or do a song creator. It'll create a song maybe out of it right there, and it'll create it. So you got different types of AA, BA, and you can play, you can create the song if you wanted to do that. And in this case, no, we don't want to do that. Turn it off. Hang on one second, guys. All right, you can play, create you a song. Now, it's probably not going to be what you want, but it gives you a general idea. Go out of here and you can go show me similar grooves. I use this a lot more than the Song Creator because what it does is it gives you similar grooves. Stays in the same realm. And up here to the right, you can do it with a crash, open, hi-hat open. And with these, what you can do is once you get a series of grooves that are similar, you can, on one particular one you're looking for, you can right click in here, hit Song Creator, use with Song Creator, and it'll either bring up what it did a second ago, or it'll bring up a series of patterns that you can pull within that it'll create your part. So similar grooves to me was probably the most efficient way to go. But that's Easy Drummer. All right, so another thing I'd like to show you, and I'll tell you what I'm gonna have to do is close this out and open it up again. Let's go to Logic Pro. You want to talk about where AI drumming has come about? You can pretty much do this with, and there are other programs and other DAWs, but Logic Pro has done an amazing job with this. And right here where it says Session Player, if you're a Logic user, you already know this. You've seen videos on this. You pretty much know you can do the drummer, bass player, keyboard. Now, I don't use bass player, drummer, all that stuff. Problem with the Session Player, with the bass player and the keyboard especially, is if you're not careful, man, it can get real cheesy, and you gotta be real careful what you're doing, because remember, you're using it, 100,000 other people are using it, so there could be some variations it could copy or be same. You should be very careful. What I encourage you to do is use this tool to go in and manipulate and create your own. I play guitar and bass, so it's unless I'm in some kind of a pinch somewhere and I need to, I don't have a guitar with me. I use Trillion from Spectrasonics. Trillion from Spectrasonics to me is probably the best bass plugin there is, as a side note, so check that out. I'm telling you. But speaking of drum programs, I'm hoping one day that Spectrasonics can come out with the ultimate drum VST that really just blows their Stylus RX out of the water. They don't really sell it anymore. It's in their Legacy series. They still sell it, but it's not in the forefront. They may be developing a new drum and percussion VST, and I hope they do one for all styles. It'd be cool. But let's focus on this here, folks, shall we? Session Player, man, if you're a session drummer, and if you've seen this, I've used this before, and I think it's so cool. I really do. I think it's amazing. The cool thing what you could do with this is it'll conform to what you're playing, just like Easy Drummer did, but a little more intuitively. It will conform to what you've put into this DAW. In other words, you need drums for a guitar part you recorded. This will capture it. Now, this is just a default pattern. Indeed, just default. But you can go in here and you can change the complexity, the fill amounts. You want fills to go every 2 or 3 bars. Let's put it this way. Here, fills all through it on the most complex part. Or you can turn them down, you see it move. minimal fills. You can go in, you can change. Actually, you can manipulate your rhythm down here too. That's another thing that you can do. But you got ghost notes. You can go in here. You want the hi-hat to be half closed, whole closed, snare automatic, your feel, dynamic, your humanized feature. This goes in and just kind of adapts to what you set it to. You can change your kit right here to the left where my mouse is. Now what I do with this is I find a kit and I find some patterns that I like. I may can go and manipulate later, because remind you, you can right click this and you can turn it back into MIDI somewhere. You can drag and drop it to a MIDI and you can convert it. Now what I'll do is I'll get a bunch of patterns and I'll go in, and somewhere along the way when I know I need a change of a fill, because if you copy and paste this pattern, it's more than likely going to play the same fill. But however, I can copy and paste this. I can put a fill here. Let's see here. It's going to have a fill towards the end here and go into the next one. Right here. Oh, that thing goes so cool, it has a crash. Now, if I want to create a different fill at the end over here, I bring my scissors tool here, folks, and I can click here, boom, and right here, I'm clicking just this. It's isolating just this fill, and I can change that fill. It'll automatically create a new drum fill here that's different from the first 8 bars. Let's see what it does. Now, I've done it before. It's probably going to make a fool out of me, but we can do it. It's all good. Coming up. Let's see. All right, so created 2 there. So what we want to do is go this and take this where it created the fill, go into that, turn your fill amount down, and it just changed that. So now you're just doing it for that loop. You got a fill here, and on here on this particular highlight stuff, I cut it right there at the last bar, so there's no fills in it. But it's going to go into, you can change it to create a different fill on that last bar. I just made a fool out of me. It's an abbreviated version of it. Let's see here. Fill complexity. Let's turn it down. There we go. There you go. You can change the complexity. We're getting there. See? Different. You got that? I can turn that complexity up as high as I can. And for that particular pattern, it's gonna do the complexity of the fill according to what you're doing, the genre. But you get the point, you get the idea. This is one of the easiest drum VSTs to manipulate, because just, I hate to say it does the work for you, but you still have to get in and be creative. You just can't drop this stuff in and go. Things start getting samey. I'm not a drummer, but I get real conscious about wanting to make sure that my fills differ. Even if I'm doing a 1.5-minute cue and sync licensing, I want to make sure they differ. So, but that's Logic Pro, my friends, and I'm telling you, it really is cool. Indeed it is. Next, I've got a lot of, you can go into Contact. Now, I haven't used a lot of these, but we go into Contact here, if it'll come up. And there's really cool drum programs if you want to get into 60s and 70s and 80s drums. They did an amazing job with capturing that, and I think it's so cool. I haven't used them much. I really haven't. But that doesn't mean I won't. I brought it up the other day, and I was gonna. You got Studio Drummer here, which is cool. Let's go with the session kit. The Studio Drummer is cool. The drums sound incredible. They really do. You can literally, there's grooves. You go in and play these grooves. You've got them. You have to go in and search for which you're looking for, funk, pop, rock. So you've got them here. And the cool thing is you can drop them in, and you can, if you're familiar with creating drum patterns, you can go manipulate these in the MIDI however you want. They're mapped out really well. And let's see, hard rock. Let's see what we got going here. There you go, man. Drums sound great. Your native instruments, you have them. Another one I like to go in down here is starts getting into these 70s drummer and 60s, Abbey Road 60s drummer. Let's see here. Let's go to this kit. I haven't really messed with this. Man, you want to play some Beatle-esque type stuff? They did a good job at nailing this. They really captured it so well. You got it, man. It's this Abbey Road series that's so great. Abbey Road 50s drummer. Let's see what this is at. Spot on, folks. Play a little Chuck Berry there, man. 70s. I'm telling you, it's its own, folks. You can do this. A little John Bonham style, or not really John Bonham on this, folks. Sorry. It's more like ABBA. This guy. There you go. Snare punches in a little bit more of a harder rock. I don't know about all the cowbells in the back. 70s hard rock. 80s, you've got that, folks. You get the point, and you get the idea. Put a little Duran Duran there, man. Get into a little. You have to change your groove out. Now, the one thing on this one that I noticed, on these Native Instruments drum suites, it's harder to access those grooves. It's a little limited, but the grooves are there. The cool thing is that you have the option to drop other MIDI if it's mapped properly. And that's another thing, is if you have another drum VST and you got that MIDI and you want to drop into another, you can take that MIDI and drop one of these in there, provided it's mapped out right. It might take a little bit more work to go in and map out, move that kick down to where the kick is. It's not impossible. You can do it. So another thing that I do, I don't want to go too much on this, but another thing that I love doing is going in here to, there's other drum programs I've got, like within Contact again, before I go to my next one here. Let's go back to Contact. I picked up some really good stuff. John Mayer, man, he did a good one with his post-felts, not the piano, but his drum plug-in. Let's not screw this one up, Chris, naming it wrongly. It was, do I have it in here? Somerville Sounds. The Woven Violin was really good. His drum VST was really cool. Let's find John's here. Now I know I've got it. Sorry about that, John. I'm totally failing on you here, man. Totally failing on you, buddy. But I think it's in here. I know it is. I may not have updated his one. I need to go back and do that. Update his one because I've got the other. Oh, we need to update that, folks. Show you what I've forgotten here. Let's find that here, folks. It's soft drums. Sorry about that, John. His soft drums was really cool. I think he's had an updated version of this, and I almost know he has. Sorry about that, John. I just haven't updated it yet. I've got to go do it. But John did a great job being some folks with his soft drum. Let's go to the kit, folks. That's what we're looking at here, folks. There we go. He's got really cool differences of kicks. Firm, fluffy, stiff, fluffy. His snare. Yeah, really good sounding stuff. Props to you, John. And this might be the updated one. I need to double check that. It would soon be corrected that I didn't have it. But your toms, John did a great job with this. You're going to find there's a lot of people that do make their own drum VSTs. There's a company called Ink Audio that does the whole Nashville toolkit. Look up Ink Audio. Definitely go look at John Meyer's stuff, man. Really good stuff. John's done such a great job. But another thing I do, I don't want to make this too long, but I'll get that updated, John, I promise you, buddy, is I go into Reason. Reason has had a few things in the past that weren't bad. And ones who wonder, I still use Reason. I use it. I love it. I just don't like their DAW right now. It's falling behind so bad. So I use Reason racks. I really do. So I click devices up here so I'm used to looking down the side here, looking at all this. There's a lot of cool drum programs that even they put in years ago. I used to use these A-list drummers, man. I used to love these things, man. They were really good for a lot of the acoustic, lighter rock type stuff, which is cool. It's been a while since I've used this, folks, so bear with me. I'm looking for a lot of cool stuff. You can hear these kits. Now, the cool thing they did is you go in here, it's soft, deep, natural, tight, hard. You hear the change. And you can adjust the levels of each kit over here, your overheads, which is real cool. Room. It's cool. They really made it easy. These A-list drummer suites were really good. You can go in and find your grooves that you want. Again, kind of limited, but it put you in the ballpark where you can actually go in and manipulate these things. You can manipulate the MIDI to do pretty much what you want to do, folks. That you can. And I know there was a play button around here on these, and I'm not entirely. You've got your different kits here. You don't want me doing reviews of VSTs, folks. I'll drive you crazy. Going, wouldn't he need to know this before he shows the kit? Probably so, but I haven't used the Reason ones in ages. But the cool thing about the A-list stuff is you drop the MIDI into the DAW, and it will play them. It will play them big time. And there's another thing. Trying to get that MIDI brought in, which you can do. But that's the A-list drummer series, guys. There was some other stuff that they did, which I thought was really cool. And Reason did their own suite of drum suite, so I thought it was kind of cool. So if you use Reason racks, I think that's really cool. Let's go into Reason's drummer, Reason drum kits, which is not bad. A lot of stuff that you can do here, folks. Now, just pick your poison. That's my point here today. If you need a good drummer, my point today, you can find one. It's not hard. It's not hard to find a good drummer, folks, if you need one. And I literally seek out a lot of drum stuff because it really helps me with certain styles of music that I do. But I'm going to show you one other company here before I call this vid here. Is AVA Music, man. They're really good. They do some good drumming programs. I picked up there, and if you've watched Stephen Badal's channel, he's showcased this Prism Lo-Fi, which is real good. Great kit. I love these drums. I used this on the album last month, and I loved it. And the cool thing is that you can go in. You've got different grooves here, and you can play them. Go in, find your groove. Medium, fast. Pick your poison, folks. Your Prism Prism series. Sorry about that. They're really good. I just picked up the Prism taped indie drums, which I'm going to use it sometimes. These indie drums, it's really cool. And their interface, it's all similar. Easy to access, very user-friendly. And you can't go wrong with it. Some indie drums. And who I think was using this, come to think of it, was that channel Trevor Barnes. He does a lot of indie songwriting. I follow a lot of different types of channels, and I encourage you to do the same. You can learn a lot from a lot of other people. But the key here is when you watch these channels and you learn, start doing. Don't just sit there and go, I'm not ready to do it until I learn all this. Put your hands on it and start doing it, folks. I promise you. It will help. Some of this stuff sounds disco-ish, but it just depends on what you're looking at. There's another pack that they have. It's an indie pop VST, which is really cool too. So another good company, man. It does good drum work, folks. It really does. But anyway, my point here today is you can find this stuff. It's out there for you. Not just drums, guitars. I'm going to talk about some stuff I've been plugging my guitar into here shortly. Speaking of means to get a guitar sound that is on, I've got that, and I'm going to talk about that here too. There's 1,000,001 different ways to get your guitar sound, and I encourage you to go find what works for you. Don't buy everything. You buy what works for you and evolve with it, man. Problem is, I've evolved with this stuff for the last, I don't know how many years, and it's gotten out of hand. But that's okay. We're using them. So anyway, I'm going to get off here, and I appreciate you guys for watching so much. And we'll see you guys on the next video. Be cool. Bye.